like to start the meeting with a pledge of allegiance to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's an agenda. I don't know if anybody would like one, but there is an agenda. If you don't have it, we can get one passed out to you.
Can you grab me one, sir?
And the first thing that's not on the agenda is that we received a request to have this meeting recorded. I think audio and video. Frankly, I don't think we would have the authority to deny somebody that right. And you can see that is being recorded. If anyone else wants to record, they're certainly free to do so. We would just ask that if anybody wants to disseminate any of these recordings, that they be fair and accurate representation of what happens here tonight. Will you take attendance of the, see who's here?
Sure.
What?
John, do you want me to say their names?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Just call the names and they'll say.
John Mormon.
Here.
Stephanie Peck. Here. Bruce.
Sorry, I misunderstood.
Sorry, Chris Alfricker.
Here.
Bruce.
Present.
Bill Collins.
Present.
And Brian.
Here.
All right, we have the minutes of November 26th meeting. And I don't know that that's been distributed to everyone.
I move they be approved.
Everybody got it in the packet.
Okay, it's in the packet. I guess before we start that, there was a package of information distributed to the committee, and the minutes of the meeting should be in that, as well as the financial report. Do we have any comment on the minutes? Any changes? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes will be approved. We have a financial report for, I guess it's from what, the last, you have it there?
Yeah.
I guess this goes back to before our last meeting. And it shows that we currently, it looks like we currently have $6,275.15. I guess less the $260 we paid to Boker. John, that was for inscribing names?
That was for name inscription, that's correct.
Okay. Everyone's had a chance to see the expenditures. I see we paid our deposit for the Old York Country Club.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
The financial report be approved. We have the street fair application.
I would move that we sponsor and table the forthcoming street fair.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, that will be approved. This committee has been meeting now for a long time. We believe that we are not subject to the Open Public Meetings Act. We've read it, and we think we're not covered. However, we received a request from Mayor Malone that this meeting be advertised. So we will henceforth, previously we always told the city commissioners when we were meeting, gave them a copy of our agenda and provided them minutes of the meeting. Now I believe the plan is the city will actually advertise this meeting. So it would be incumbent upon us to pick dates that can be advertised. I'm suggesting that we meet quarterly, and I don't know if anybody brought their calendar. I think typically we meet Tuesday nights. Is that something, is everyone comfortable with scheduling this quarterly? on a Tuesday night. Let's see. I guess the first meeting of the next quarter would be in April, which is right around the corner. Do we want to schedule a meeting in April?
Which Tuesday do you want to meet on? First, second, third, fourth? I would suggest the second Tuesday.
I think second was what we have
Okay.
generally picked. Do we want to meet in April? Do we want to push that back to
No,
May?
Why don't we?
You know what, April, the second Tuesday in April, I'm not gonna be able to make, so, I don't know if we make it,
Make it the third?
Why don't we make it June? Make our next meeting
Yeah, should we just do
3 months from now?
right? Is that okay? Second would be June 10?
Yep.
That's fine.
I'm sorry?
We usually don't have enough business to warrant anything sooner than that.
Okay. All right. Do we have a motion?
Well, where do you want to meet? You want to meet here, 6:30?
Sure.
Okay. I'll move.
Second Tuesday of June?
That June 10. And then I guess after that, be June, July, August, September would be the next quarterly. Okay.
Yep.
So that we'll advertise, we'll have the city advertise these meetings. All right,
I'll write a letter, take down the city, tell them this is our meeting schedule.
thank you. All right, do we have a second on that?
Need a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, that's approved. So it'll be June 10 and then September, whatever. I don't have a September calendar. No, so whatever the second Tuesday in September.
9.
9. Okay, and then quarterly after that. Okay. Memorial paver status. John, you wanna tell us about that?
Just what's on your agenda there, we have 682 installed, 22 of them are honorary, and received a request today for another one, so everything's installed up to date.
All right, that was my next question, so we don't have any pending installation
Nope.
now, okay. All right, the next item on the agenda is the mural presentation by Beeling Artwork. Do we have a representative?
Yeah, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, hi. This is, I'm Pete Beeling, this is my son, Pete Beeling.
Thank you
I'm
for
sorry.
coming. First try.
Nice to meet you.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, what we've got, basically, is what the wall looks like now. And, several copies. So, we're thinking, making a wall look like that. It has a lot of features in it. There's like all these little people that could be actual portraits of people that would donate.
Can I have a copy of it?
Or we can make some of the soldiers a specific person in the town that you might want to highlight or something like that.
Subject to change.
Subject to change. This is a preliminary design. This, if you notice, it's all paint everywhere, like even these tiles and all these architectural features sort of highlight the building and make it that much prettier. Because right now it's kind of really got that ugly, bland wall, you know. And by breaking up that space and changing all these windows so they actually look in the building, I think it sort of makes a real nice kind of look for it.
This is, I think you had provided this photograph, or this rendering previously, and I've had a chance to look at it. I don't think the committee has seen it. This is something that we've been considering a long time, so I really appreciate you doing this. I don't think we're prepared to really comment much, but I'm really happy that we open up this dialogue.
Okay.
That we can, what I'd like to do is sit with the committee and review this, come up with some ideas.
Sure. Yep.
Obviously, you were here, you heard our financial report. I just bet that our financials do not cover that.
Well-
We, I think this is probably more elaborate than we would be looking for, so.
Okay.
What I'd like to do is.
Ways to do this in stages too, like you could do, for instance, like part of it, like over on this left structure, which would really dress the place up, and then just sort of paint the other part kind of a bland color. So you could do it in maybe 3 different stages. It might make a good way to break it up.
Does anybody on the committee have any questions?
Can you give us a dollar figure? Say, give us a dollar figure for
Well,
this?
the whole way, that way painted completely, take about 2.5 to 3 weeks to paint, would run about $28,000.
Now, and suppose we simplified it and brought it down.
Right, we could make it simpler and maybe do something like use one soldier, eliminate some architectural elements, that we could get it down to a cost that you guys could feel you could more reasonably afford.
Sorry, I don't mean to hold the floor,
No, no.
but, say we wanted to do something right behind a mural, a memorial rather, would you paint the whole wall for us then at the same time?
Well, yeah, I think you should get a good coat of paint on the whole wall at any time, because that'll make it, if you want to go further or do other parts, ready to go. See,
Yeah, and you wouldn't have to worry about any leaching from the dirt on the old wall and, you know.
Dress up the wall.
Have you had a chance to look at the wall?
Not recently, last time I looked was probably 6 months ago.
When you looked at it then, and I obviously wouldn't hold you to this, did you say anything about the condition that requires us to spend money beyond what you're proposing?
It looked
To
to me,
stabilize
the
wall?
last time I saw it, it looked pretty stable. It might have had some water leaks, some kind of things going along on the window edges, but everything seemed pretty secure, and it was a pretty well done piece of stucco work. I think it's on brick too, I'm not sure. So it should be pretty permanent. We did the one at the Farnsworth House. I think that's been there now for
Long time.
25 years. This is a north-facing wall. It doesn't get a lot of sun, so you should have a lot of life out of this mural. It should last 20, 30 years before anybody has to really touch it up. We use all these special Disney paints and stuff like that. That's kind of why the cost is kind of high, because the paints are pretty expensive, believe it or not. So,
All right, any other questions?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I like the idea of it done in stages where we could make it more cost effective, where
Right.
the projection could be a complete mural of this nature, but phase 1 is this, and
Right.
phase 2 is this,
yeah,
and
we've done
phase 3
that
is
on
this.
quite a few murals
Okay.
from time to time.
Yeah, and we're, you know, just down the street too, so it's like.
Yeah,
not
we're
a problem
located in
for us at all.
Florence. It's no problem. Any other questions?
Do you ever, use another medium, like say?
No, we use all acrylics, waterborne paints.
No, I'm talking about like electronic display.
Oh, well, we do a lot of work down in Wildwood, and sometimes we do incorporate like LED screens with something, like if you wanted to make some kind of announcement or something, is that what you mean? Or
Well, I think we had an idea, sorry, John,
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt. We kind of had an idea where you make it like a living mural, so that maybe Christmas time you can change the display, or,
I think we're
You know.
thinking of like projection.
Right.
projection would be the way, 'cause-
Right.
yeah, well, we could certainly,
Yeah, on that
Figure
note,
that out.
they do have special paints for projection screens now, and we could create like a large border where there is like a permanent projector there, and like it's projecting in a framed area that's all white. So potentially you could have a TV right there, and then it would be framed out with a mural around it. So if the projector's not going, it still has the same meaning. You know?
Do you have any experience with projectors on something like this?
well, outdoor projection is a tricky business. The projectors can get pretty expensive depending on how much clarity you want in it.
We know the right people to talk to about
Yeah.
it. I have multiple friends that are, you know, high-end install signers and things like that, you know, so.
Yeah, we could research that for you.
All right. Well, I think you know, I'm obviously not prepared to commit to $28,000 tonight. But thank you, and yeah, if you
Sure.
can get back to us with, you know, what we'll do is we'll work on this.
Yeah, and I
And,
appreciate
you
the
know,
opportunity
see
to
what else
present
we
it
can
to
do.
you.
Thank you, I really appreciate that.
Thank you,
Great,
John.
I
thank
have
you.
one more question. Do you guarantee your work for like?
Sure,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
on this one, I would certainly guarantee. Yeah, if anything happened within 3 years, I would be able to repair it. Sometimes what happens though, it might be water damage from the building itself, you know, like, but like I say, I didn't really notice any spots where it was real bad.
And as you're up there too, you would notice like, oh, as you're
Yeah.
close up to the building,
Yeah,
you
when
would
you
notice
get
if there was like a
right there,
facade issue and.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like last winter, I totally redid a two-story carousel from Morey's Pier, and you know, it was just supposed to be a spray and touch up, you know, and then we ended up having to sand the whole carousel back down the, you know, so we know what to do to make things right. You know?
So would you guys sub out, like, let's just say you get up there and there's an issue with the wall, do you sub that out, or you guys repair, I mean, how does that? how does that work?
Wall damage like that, we'd sub out.
Sure enough.
Especially if it was a leak of some sort.
Okay.
Yeah, and that, you know, we definitely talked to the property owner, you know, if it was like a major thing.
I have a question about the process. I mean, how do you get from proposal and concept to final design? So, I mean,
Bouncing it back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
You guys make suggestions, and we listen, and then we decide like how we can incorporate them, and bounce it back and forth via email.
Yeah, generally email, like going back and forth, like we can come up with, you know, designs fairly quickly on the computer now, and we can bounce it back, you guys can pass it along, so, you know, we're all on the same email contact list, and, you know, everybody can get their say. And
I ask because in looking when you do private work,
Right.
private work is usually one decision maker.
Yeah.
So that's who you're dealing with.
Oh, we've dealt with a lot of committees. It's not
And
that.
design by committee, as we all know, can be difficult.
Yeah, we did a big mural for the Florence, yeah, that committee is very well. We did one for Florence Township in the lobby and the mural there.
Okay.
And we dealt with the township on that. Yeah, that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because
Back
the
and
process, I think, is for us, is the
It's very
hardest one to
important.
get your arms around, to say, okay,
Yeah.
first, what's going to be the image that we want to put up, and then how is that best expressed, once you agree on what the image
Right,
is?
well, what it would be is like you would express your concerns, things that you wanted covered, like kinda a little bit how you did it, and then we'll translate that.
you know, we act as the mediator, you know,
Yeah.
take that pile of ideas, you know, and like process them out and, you know, put them onto a piece of paper to be like visual.
And one of my questions, sometimes it can get frustrating after a
Oh, it
while for
does.
the artist to say, okay, we're in step 9.
Hey,
And now we're still going, we're back to step 3. Remember, we did this rendering a while ago,
Yeah.
and folks were going back in circles and
It
so
happens,
on.
it happens.
That-
What you do is you just grin and bear it and kind of push your way through it, and you come out with a result.
Is that to me is
It's
a
the most
tough hurdle
difficult
to
part.
get over, to get to something.
Yeah, I've been doing this for about 4 years, Pete now 10 or 15, and we've run into pretty much every kind of situation that you could possibly go through. So,
And then I would imagine too that once a decision is made, weather, as we just experienced this the past couple of months,
weather is
has
a
an
key
impact.
issue, yes, and we have a lot of work coming up in the springtime. So what we see this as happening sooner or later in the year. Like if this was to happen, it should happen before May. If it was happening early, and if it happened later, it has to happen in September.
Right, because we just talked about meeting dates of June and then September. So, you know, that
You can
becomes.
see our timeline.
Well,
Right.
there's
As you got.
That's it.
There's
And
no.
then, you know, the stages of things would help too, like doing the mural in stages.
I tell you, I would like to get something done before July 4th. I think it would be very nice. Or your street fair occasion, it would be a good time to unveil something. And a lot of times what we do with these, we're doing one now down in Wildwood for the Tourism Bureau. We cover them up and then have a day unveiling and
Or like Bobby Rydell's gonna be there to unveil the mural.
doing a big portrait of Bobby right there.
Use that. Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Any other
All
questions?
right, guys, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bill's got a question.
Oh, Bill?
Yeah.
All right, you can.
In your presentation, drawing here, there's a very strong three-dimensional effect,
Yes.
and it almost, looking at it in this particular drawing,
Yeah.
overpowers, to me, it seems to overpower the
Uh-huh. Well, there's our first critique.
oil.
So we're off the road.
And I wonder if it's because you wanted to emphasize the mural that you made this strong three-dimensional
Probably.
presentation, or
Yeah.
whether this would represent sort of how it would look.
Well, it's
It would
a,
really be that bold and that strong in the three-dimensional.
well, we can paint it back too, like, and sort of reduce contrast, and then it doesn't dominate the, are you talking about it overpowers the memorial?
Yeah, that's my problem here is you want it to be an adjunct.
Yes.
To improve the
Right.
visual effect of the memorial.
Well,
We
I
don't
would
want it to
say-
overpower the memorial.
I would say probably, like this area here, if we reduce the contrast so it's more like that, then it sort of starts to recede. There are tricks like that where you reduce the contrast and then it becomes less important visually. And you can certainly make it melt into it.
And,
We do this in the interplay between you and the committee as we go along before we settle on a final
Yeah,
design.
like you express that concern, I would certainly go back and, once we get a few things, so we can address a few things in one time, instead of just one thing at a time. Like maybe the next meeting, you sit down and everybody discuss your ideas and then submit it to me, and then we can work around it that way.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much.
all right.
Well, no, you guys can keep
Can we
that.
keep that?
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I'll just set it on the side, so it's
Not in
struck
space.
easier.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you. All right, we ready to move on to the next item?
Yes, sir.
All right, next item is sponsoring a student to the American Legion of Boys State. John, you have that, item for the list?
As everybody probably knows, the American Legion, they sponsor students at the local high school, Burlington, or Northern Burlington, Bordentown, to what's a program is called Boys State, and it takes place in, where's Rob, where's it take place? Is
Right
Ryder?
there. Rob?
It takes place at Ryder College.
And they're looking for sponsors, and I just thought that maybe the committee would like to sponsor a student, and this is a cost of $225.
Seems worthwhile to me. Any questions about that? Do we have a motion?
Oh.
Second it.
Sorry.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Next item is, we have some informal, I guess, at this stage, request for name inscription on the wall. Chris, is that something you're prepared to talk to us about?
Well, the most recent of which would be Edmund Sutherland Sr. I got a letter from the family, specifically a representative of the son, asking us if we could put his name on the wall. He entered the service in 1949.
So that'd be a Korean
It
War.
would be Korean War vet.
Theater.
Yes, sir. I feel at this point there's a bit more to the vetting process that we need to go through, do a little bit more research with regard to his address and
Okay, as
those
I
matters.
recall, there's not enough information to determine whether he qualifies
Right, sir.
based on address.
Yes, sir.
And we have his
Edmund
sister's
Sutherland.
contact.
Yes, sir.
Did we just, did we make any, have any conversation about who's gonna do that?
And so,
You want me to? you want me
we've
to
already
write-
we've already contacted the family. I'll get
Oh.
back in touch with them.
Oh, okay. All right, and then we've got Vincent Walsh.
And
I will claim complete ignorance. Go ahead.
there's paperwork in here.
Oh, there is.
They're
I'm sorry.
informal requests, and,
You need it?
Skip the
Well-
Bruce Malone resolution?
Pardon me?
Skip the Bruce Malone resolution?
anyway, yeah.
Okay.
And,
Mass Museum?
That's not for us, is it?
No.
It's on here.
What is it?
Item 10.
This one. That one.
Not on my list. Okay. All right, some of the agendas have an item 10 about the Heritage House.
Yeah. It's this.
I'll come back to you with that.
Yeah, I guess we'll come back to it. All right. All right, Vincent Walsh.
there's both those names, Bruce, need more research.
Oh, okay.
'Cause,
All right, so you want to table that for the next meeting?
I would so move.
Do we know what Do you need me to do anything to help with that vetting process? Chris is gonna reach out to the family on the Sutherland.
Yes, sir.
What about the other two?
Just, I've told them that we need a formal request, and
Oh,
that
okay.
formal request has not come
Okay,
forward.
you've already been in touch with them?
That's correct.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
And I would move that it be tabled.
Just because I put on the check. Okay,
For both?
Yeah, yes, both.
okay, yeah, right, okay. I'm gonna move past the Armed Forces Heritage House Museum resolution and go to the World War II Honor Roll poster. John, you wanna tell us about that?
Well,
Sorry, bring it over.
when Betty Ann Burke was our historian, she did most of the research and everything like that. When Betty Ann Burke passed away, a lot of her information was given to me, and I started to go through 2 big cardboard boxes of material, and I found this poster in it, and I thought it would be a nice gift, maybe we could give it to the city. It was done in 1946, and the sponsors of the poster were John Mercantini and his wife Teresa. And it's been framed, and it's a poster that we would like to present to the city, and hopefully they will accept it.
And this poster is a list of names for inclusion on the, what was the honor roll?
That is correct.
Which was the World War II
That is correct.
memorial that previously existed.
Yeah, right, the honor roll that we could not preserve.
Right. Okay. All right, that's nice. Thank you. That's
And
right.
it's one of those names that we don't need,
Just remember, it costs $2.
Thanks for framing that, John.
That's beautiful, man.
That's nice, thank you, sir. Okay, the next item is committee appointments. I understand that all of our terms expire May 1.
Yes, sir.
Anybody here not want to be reappointed? Does everyone wish to be reappointed?
Yes, sir.
Do we want to add new members? We've talked about doing that for a long time.
The reason that it's on the agenda, Bruce, is I've been approached twice by Mayor Malone, and personally, I think the 7-man committee works rather well. I think we've done pretty well in the past. However, I think that's the Board of Commissioners. If they want to enlarge the committee, I think that should be their function.
Okay.
And if you like, I can convey that to him.
I agree with that.
Okay, I agree. Do we have a motion?
So
Should we-
moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next item is the Patriotic Ball update.
We have a meeting scheduled for March 24th at my house.
Can you
And-
give us the date?
Oh, yeah, it's November 17th at 7 p.m. at the Old York.
I don't know if everyone here is aware what the Patriotic Ball is. We started that as an effort to raise funds for the construction of the memorial. We no longer need to raise funds for the construction of the memorial.